This is going to be your weekly chakra energy tarot reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may be experiencing throughout your chakras. So in the comments, please let me know your zodiac sign and your word of the day. Now, today is Wednesday, January 29th. It is the new moon in Aquarius, and it's also the Lunar New Year. What an amazing day for energy. You know, Aquarius is all about authenticity. It's about living your authentic truth. It is about recalibration right now and forward thinking. You know, who do you want to be in the coming months? You know, can you look ahead a little bit and say, this is what I'm aspiring to? What are your intentions right now? You know, new moons are all about new beginnings, right? If you're feeling really tired, remember that it often takes a lot of energy to manifest new things. So that could explain a bit of the exhaustion, the need for sleep, just general laziness, if that's a vibe you've been encountering. Again, let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to know what you've all been feeling. So let's take a look at some overall themes and messages for this reading today. And we have Don't Let Your Past Hold You Back. Okay, I love that this card came out because, side note, I just sent out a bunch of moon readings from the last full moon Zoom. So when you attend the full moon Zoom, you get a recorded Zoom session, right, of the night that we met. And then on top of that, a personalized mini moon reading that gets sent by the next new moon. And so as I was filming these little moon readings for everybody, I saw something that I just have to share. And that is, I saw the same card come out umpteen times. Like, I think in my recordings, I had the same conversation with the majority of people. The Fool card, the Fool card, the Fool card. I don't know how many of you got the Fool card. If you got it, maybe share in the comments to show how many times that card came out. It's unbelievable. Now, I also saw the Magician as well, and so that's another side note that maybe I'll share later on. But the point is that new moon energy is manifestation. It's brand new beginnings, right? And the Fool is the same thing: trusting, taking a leap of faith, innocence, risk taking. And I just filmed a YouTube video, Learning Tarot for Self-Development, that talked about all the aspects of the Fool. And maybe there's a message in there for you if you haven't watched it. Um, it's unbelievable. I'm seeing the Fool card nonstop. So this is telling you right now on a new moon to take some risks, open the door, see where things take you. How do you know it's not going to be the best thing that ever happened to you? Now, interestingly enough, I just filmed the next in my series, which is about the Magician. And the Magician is all about manifestation and communication and how to achieve your deepest desires. So look for that video coming very soon. But I'm telling you, it's Fool energy right now. Be willing to take a risk. Pure passion. Look at the coloring, by the way, on both of these cards. This turquoise color, and blue is all about communication. Green is all about the heart chakra. So this blue-green energy is very interesting. Communication, love. Now this says, do some soul searching to find your true purpose. You have a special mission to fulfill. And exactly my point. Don't let your past hold you back. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What are you striving for? So important right now. Now, interesting, I didn't even realize, ultimately I didn't see these cards when I was picking the decks for today. But again, look at the turquoise color, that watery color, aqua, Aquarius, right? Interesting. Okay. Planetary wave, soul mission, trust the inner call, soul team. Take a leap of faith, trust yourself. Be purposeful. Even if you don't know your purpose, I want you to think about being purposeful, right? How do you bring purpose to others? I can easily say that my purpose is teaching. I've been a teacher for so long at this point. But at the same time, I take it away from the label for a moment and I say, how can I be purposeful? Well, it means I can make videos and give you information, read the energies, guide you, share my experience, be vulnerable. That's how I feel purposeful. I feel like I bring something. Now, if you're worried about what your purpose is and there's a label that needs to come from it, don't worry about it so much. How do you bring purpose to others? What is something that you do, even on a small scale, that can be helpful to other people? Everybody has a story. Everybody has something to share. Everyone adds value. You know, when I was a teacher in the classroom and I would be doing group work with my students, oftentimes I would get somebody that would call me over and say, Miss, I can't work. I can't work with these people. I don't like this person. I don't like these people. And my answer would be, well, are you sure? Because everybody adds value. And they would say, but Miss, we have nothing in common, you know, and they'd give me all these reasons. And I'd say, not true. Because as human beings, we do have a lot of things in common. The human condition says that we all grieve, we all make mistakes, we all go through the maturation process. I guarantee you that there could be somebody sitting next to you that you do have something in common with that you may not even realize. You just have to think on a human level, not on a hobby level. Think about it from the fact that we're all human beings. We can all connect. We're all one, right? Okay, let's take a look at the chakras. We're going to start with the root chakra, our base, our foundation, our Mars. And here we go, the King of Coins. Okay, it's a slow process. I'm not going to lie to you. The King of Coins is slow, methodical. You know, it is abundance in the long run. It's just going to take a while to get there. Now, there are ways to speed that up. I don't want to control that process. However, there are things we can do. We have to be mindful of our decision making, how many times we want to go around and around and around with the situation, because that can prolong your abundance, right? I always say we're going to get from point A to point B regardless. That's our soul contract. But the decisions you make along the way can affect how quickly or how slowly you get to your abundance. So the King of Coins is telling you, trust the process, really. You know, you will get there. It is the slowest moving energy in the deck, but it's the most abundant. Happening now. Your journey is happening now in real time. In real time. Are you aware of the day by day? Are you aware of the step by step? Justice, equal giving and receiving and balance. This is also King of Air energy, which is about being logical and decisive, even detached a little bit. And when I say detached, what I mean is be careful that your emotions don't get the best of you, or that you make decisions based on your emotions, or, you know, that you want to pop off just because you're feeling, you know, angry. And I understand that. Sometimes you got to release it. At the same time, you have to ask yourself, does it serve you in this moment? You've really got to pick your battles wisely. So detaching yourself from the emotions are important sometimes. You've got to look at the bigger picture. You have to understand why things are happening, right? They're happening for you, not to you. And you have to think objectively versus subjectively. The second we start going me, as in like, why is this happening to me? Then we're kind of missing, right? We're missing the pieces to the bigger picture. So let's take a look at Venus, which is the sacral chakra. And we have here the Three of Swords. So somebody is feeling quite sad. You know, there's grieving going on here in a sense. There's a broken heart. And let's clarify what this broken heart is about. You know, when it's in the Venus position here, or the sacral chakra, that's self-worth, self-value, self-respect. Somebody's just not feeling that confident. They're looking for the fine print in everything, you know, and it's almost like they're double checking everything before they make a move. And sometimes, like I said, you have to trust the process. You got to take a leap of faith. You can't always check all the fine print. And I've been using this analogy a lot lately. And maybe you heard me say it in my Learning Tarot for Self-Development in previous videos. But in the next video, I'm going to talk about it in more detail. When we're sitting on a fence, you know, when you've got one leg on one side, one leg on the other, and we will only swing that other leg over when we have a sure thing. It just doesn't work like that. There's never a sure thing. Nothing is promised. We have to be willing to take a chance, take a risk, and see where it takes us, right? And we can't let old stories or old narratives pull us backwards. Because again, that comfort zone is really not so comfortable. It's familiar, it's just not comfortable. And there's the Garden. You know, this is the thing about the Garden card, how to explain it to people. The garden essentially means something is publicly known because it's like a public meeting place. It's where you see a lot of people, and encounter various families and situations and picnicking and events, whatever you want to call it. And I would just say that something will become apparent in this energy. Now, it also says playing the field. If you're afraid to move on, especially if this is a relationship, you have to ask yourself, how much do you like this comfort zone, right? And the other thing is, how do you know unless you put yourself out there and play the field a little bit? I know there are lots of people who say they don't want to, they don't like the dating world, it's so terrible. I get it. But that just perpetuates a story. It doesn't have to be that way. Let's take a look at the solar plexus, which is personal power. And we've got the Six of Cups. See, there's the thing. Nostalgia. How many of you are feeling nostalgic? Old wounds, whether they're childhood wounds or relationship wounds. Again, somebody here is looking at the fine print saying, I don't know if I want to move past this. I've invested so much in this. How do I let this go? How do I play the field? What does that even mean? There's so many questions there. Happening soon. Okay, so we're getting all this happening now, happening soon. It is. You can feel it. Like the energy really is gaining momentum. There's this energetic push that's happening. And the lion is telling you to overcome the difficulties. It's also an energy of Venus, like that sacral chakra, right? Like that self-worth, self-value, self-respect. It's like that self-esteem. You have to believe in yourself. You have to follow your heart. You have to trust your heart. The problem is that many people just don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves and they don't trust other people. And I understand, look, there's a lot of bad out there, sure. But there's also a lot of good. With light, there's dark. With dark, there's light. With good, there's bad. With bad, there's good. Good people do bad things. Bad people do good things. You know what I mean? There's not one descriptor. And you have to be careful if you're finding yourself doing that, saying, I don't trust anyone. I don't like anyone. Well, how's that going to bring new energy in for you? So let's take a look at the heart chakra. Matters of the heart. See, filling your own cup, Ace of Cups. Filling your own cup does not mean that you're not going to put yourself out there. I just want to make a point. You can only do so much on your own. And I applaud you. If you're reading books, if you're watching videos, if you're doing as much self-help that you can, that's a positive thing. But understand that you can only do so much on your own. You need people to trigger you. You need situations to trigger you, to work through those old wounds. That's why I always say it's important to put yourself out there. Whenever I hear someone say, I think I'm just going to spend time on my own and I just want to feel good, before I do anything else. And there's truth to that. Absolutely. Do that. Take a break every now and again. Nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, ask yourself, how long is the appropriate amount of time? If you're telling me I'm going to take a month, maybe 2, okay, a few weeks. But if you're telling me that you need a whole year or it's been years, then you have to sort of reevaluate whether you really have walls up, or boundaries that are flexible, that help you breathe and grow and change. So let's take a look at this Ace of Cups. So filling your own cup, crystal ball, you have to trust your intuition. And by the way, it says seeing clearly. Your heart is what sees clearly. And I'm not necessarily talking about the romantic side of things, as in like, ooh baby romance. I'm talking about the intuition of your heart, the magnetic field of your heart. Your heart knows, but you have to trust it. And again, that's the thing. If I ask you, do you trust yourself? I think you'd find that a lot of people don't trust themselves. And if they don't trust themselves, how can they trust others? I actually had this conversation recently with somebody close to me, not in a work situation, but they're going through a bit of a tough time. And I said, I trust you. I trust you. I trust that you'll make the right decisions. And their response was, I don't I don't trust myself right now. You say you trust me. I don't trust myself. And so think about it. How can somebody trust other people when they don't trust themselves, or they're not putting into practice their own intuition or risk taking? And I think my answer to that conversation, as some guidance, I guess you could say, not telling anybody what to do, but guidance, I would just say people have to really think about protecting their own energy. And what I mean by that is you can't take on everybody else's problems. It's called problem ownership. And I don't say that to sound rude, but you can't take on other people's problems. You're not there to fix everything for everybody. You are allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, I'm sorry, I can't do this today. Or I'm sorry that you're hurting, but I really don't have the capacity. It's okay to do that. You're not a bad person to do that. You're not abandoning anybody. And I think that's the fear people have. They're like, well, I'm abandoning them. But that's because there's an inner childhood wound maybe within you that feels like that happened to you. And we don't ever want anyone to feel the things that we felt. Whenever I talk about my spiritual reawakening, when I went through my marriage breakdown, family boundary issues, death and loss, changing careers, twin flame journey, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't want anyone to go through the things that I went through. That's why I do give. But at the same time, you've probably heard me say this before if you've done sessions with me. There are days that I can spend extra time with you, and I'm happy to do it because I can give it. And then there are days that I can't, that I have a session right after, and unfortunately, I can't keep talking. But I will always give my very best when I can. And I think that's the lesson I want all of you to learn, is that you can put your energy first. You can be generous, but you can't be generous 100% of the time. It has to be a balance, right? And that doesn't make anybody a bad person. You're not abandoning anybody. You're doing the best you possibly can, and that should be good enough. And if it's not good enough and somebody's going to, be upset with you, well, unfortunately, that says more about them than it does about you. Now, side note, I have an emotional support kitty here. The reason why I've been holding these cards and not shuffling is because, and she just knocked them over, is that Pandy, sometimes I call her pushy Pandy or possessive Pandy. She's trying desperately to get into the reading here. Like, if she had it her way, she would already be sitting on this table. So my elbow right now is kind of pushing her gently to the side. Okay, Pandy, I cannot do this right now. Thank you. See, Pandy, I can't do this right now. I don't have the capacity. All right, 2 cards. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune is forces of the universe, as it says on this card. It's also growth, expansion, and good luck. Things are shifting and you're divinely guided. Putting yourself first is going to put you in the right direction. You will be led in the right direction. It may not be comfortable for everybody, but it will be beneficial. And how can you take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself, right? That's the problem. So many of us come from an empty cup. Now, let's take a look at the throat chakra. What do we need to know about communication right now? 2 of Wands. You got to leave your comfort zone. You've got to speak up. You've got to speak up. Be clear and concise. Now, the magician video that I'm working on, posting in the next few days for learning tarot for self-development, I talk about how you have to be clear. You have to set your intentions, and you can't worry about whether you're right, whether you're wrong, whether people will like it, whether they won't like it. It's really none of their business. It's up to you. It's your life. It's your mind. It's your body. It's your soul. You have the right to make decisions for you, but you have to leave that comfort zone. Don't let your past hold you back. I mean, there's the reference right there. I want you to return to an energy of innocence. I want you to feel light. I want you to feel like you have new beginnings coming your way. If you're constantly worrying about your worries, guess what you're going to get? More worries. I talk about this in the video. If you're telling me, Kelly, I'm confused, I don't know, guess what you're going to get? More confusion and more I don't know. And I don't think you want that. So stop saying it. Catch yourself. If you keep saying, I don't know, I am so confused, I'm confused. Well, guess what? The universe is listening to you. It's granting you everything that you say, think, feel. You're a magnet. You're a magnet. Don't forget that. Okay, let's take a look at the third eye, which is your intuition. Jupiter. Well, Jupiter, there it goes. I said it. The Wheel of Fortune. Again, growth, expansion, good luck, shifting. Your intuition is growing. It's shifting. How many of you are noticing their gifts are increasing? You're getting better with it. You're getting stronger with it. You're trusting yourself more. It doesn't happen overnight. But how else can you trust yourself other than experiential learning? Hence why I'm always saying to you, spark new energy. Put yourself out there. Navigate. Yeah, the waters may be rough sometimes, but you're going to get benefits from putting yourself out there. Stop thinking that it's going to be the opposite. There's the telephone. Communication. Are you ready for the call? You're going to get the call. It's time. It's time. There's the bellows. A catalyst. Get things going. Beautiful. Effort required. Spark. All right, let's take a look at the crown chakra. The downloads coming through. 9 of Wands, it's been tough. I know. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to get these tests, right? This is what always happens. You embark on something new. You get the courage to take a risk, or you think about taking a risk. And then all of a sudden, even though the crown chakra is pure white light and it's beautiful, right? But that doesn't mean that sometimes messages that come through aren't testing you. And I see this all the time with angel numbers or general signs, synchronicities, or even music for that matter. You know, you have to remember something, and that is not every message that you get from spirit, from God, from the universe, is something that you necessarily take for face value. And I'll tell you why. Because your interpretation is what matters. Maybe the message might be of pure information or knowledge or intent, but your perception of it is what's going to alter what happens next. So for example, if you're contemplating taking a leap of faith and leaving your comfort zone, and then suddenly you get a sign, a synchronicity, a song, and you think that it's saying to you, oh, don't make that move. Just wait a little bit longer. You know what? That person's going to change. That person's going to change. Yet you've been around and around with them for months or years, and they haven't changed yet. It's because internally change is hard and you're afraid of that change. And therefore you interpret that sign as saying, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Well, let me ask you, are you ever ready? Is anyone ever ready? I mean, ask somebody who's a parent. Is anyone ever ready to be a parent? You know, it's not something you sit there and go, I am fully ready. I've got this. Or when I was a teacher on my first day of class ever, do you think I was ready? What they taught me in teachers college, I can assure you, did not prepare me for what I was going to get. I had to learn by doing. The first time that I went on live on TikTok, I can remember it very clearly. I didn't know anybody on there. I didn't know what I was going to get. You know, I had to navigate that energy and become experienced at it and build a community and build an energy with people. And that's taken time. I've been doing this for 4 years. And I'm not saying it's going to take you 4 years or multiple years, but you have to remember that if you're not getting experience, if you're letting yourself be pulled back out of fear, or because you think that that sign means you've got to stay and wait, well, I mean, that's up to you. But I will tell you that you need to be a Roomba. What does a Roomba vacuum do? It spins around the room, it hits the wall, and redirects itself. Don't be afraid to redirect yourself. So what if you make a mistake? So what if you put yourself out there and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to? Okay. Oh well. Next time, keep going. It can't be any worse than what was previously experienced. We have to learn from our lessons, right? The universe is speaking to you. It really is. It really is. But again, when you get those signs, synchronicities, angel numbers, and songs, I want you to know that they're tests. They're asking you, are you in the old, are you in the new? I always say this, if you're seeing their name on a truck and their birthday everywhere, you know, whatever it is, those are usually signs that are meant to keep you in a comfort zone that's not so comfortable. And with this, we have here the clock. Everything is perfect timing. Trust the process. Divine timing is at play. You cannot control how things unfold. You can control your energy. And that can dictate how you get from point A to point B, like I said earlier. But again, it's totally up to you. So I'm going to take these Power of Surrender cards. Before I do, I want to thank you for your kindness and your support, as always. It really means a lot to me. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. Let's take a look at the Power of Surrender. What do we need to surrender or surrender to? Surrender to success. This is my point. You are ready. Can I just repeat myself? You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap. Interesting. Fool energy. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. Absolutely. Are you ready? Wow. Okay, I honestly, surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. Absolutely. I really hope this resonates with you. Thank you so much for your kindness and support. Please let me know in the comments your feedback. I wish you an amazing day and happy new moon and happy Lunar New Year.